latest episode of the EIC Marketing Experience. Yeah, a little different than the Rise, Grind, Repeat segment. And so this is actually what we started to get the EIC podcast going. And so how it's a little bit different is this is all tactical. This is kind of some of the things that we're doing from a strategy perspective and some of the performance that comes with it. And so it's really, here's what we're doing and here are the results. So Colton will be joining me. He's the one that's in the trenches making all the updates within the platforms. And so I'll let him kind of kick it off right after we intro. So we had someone come to us, one of our first clients, that they needed phone calls and getting their sales reps busy. They were averaging with their paid media, so Google ads, Facebook ads, all in about $150 a call. And so they wanted to bring that down. And so what we were able to do over the last 3 months is get it down to about $55 now. And so I'll let Colton kind of dive in and let him give his 2 cents on his mind frame and where he was coming from as he was building this out to try and accomplish the client's ask. So Colton, what was your mind frame, and what were you thinking through as you were putting which platforms should we use, and yeah, how did you get the process started?
So yeah, like you said, pretty much going into it, they wanted more calls, so that's what we're gonna go for. So going into it, we could go with like Facebook, Instagram, Google. You have all those things you can hit on, and Facebook typically has like the type of client it was, you couldn't really do that marketing and the marketing we wanted. So the restrictions that they had and everything, you couldn't advertise what we wanted. So we couldn't go with that. And then Instagram's part of Facebook, so obviously that's hand in hand. And then also, so it leaves us with Google, and we also have display. And pretty much for search, like that makes more sense because it's what people are searching for. And then display is just to hit people that have those interests or things that we think is what we're trying to advertise, basically.
Awesome. So basically the approach was by knowing what policies there were, what we could actually do with the different platforms. You immediately knew we cannot run with these, so we didn't even waste time in trying to propose a strategy or a campaign on those particular platforms, but also knew what it is that this person would need from this company. And so getting into the user's point of view and what am I going to do that's going to lead me to make that phone call. And so it's more on the search side of things. So yeah, I mean, that was an awesome approach. And so once we kind of got started, how did you start shifting dollars, or what were you seeing that kind of started us getting to a cheaper cost per call?
Perfect. So yeah, we went with search and display and just got stuff out there to get data back and pretty much know what to go with that after it. So doing so, we got display at banner ads running and then search ads running and got it back and found out we were getting more calls with display, which is really good. So we started pushing the budget more towards display, and that was bringing in a lot more calls and everything like that. But then a couple weeks down the road, as we were analyzing the calls and seeing like what type of quality they were bringing back, we actually found out that display was bringing back less quality calls than search. So made us reevaluate and actually go back more towards search. And then in doing so, we've been getting like better quality calls from it, and then just pushing more budget towards that, and actually have completely just disregarded display going into like the new month and stuff like that to test other things that Dustin actually found a vendor that could help us out, and he knows more about it.
Cool. So kind of to recap, what we did is we were chasing that cost per phone call. We kind of cast a wide net. We have display, we have search, and for some context, display, you can target people with banner ads on other people's websites if they fall within the audience that you want to select. So like, for example, for us, it would be people that are in market for podcast production, video production, target those people with some banner ads. The clicks are a lot cheaper, but they're not searching for you like on Google, where someone is searching for video production. And so it's kind of leveraging different audiences and using data to hit on the people that might be in line with what product or service that you're offering. And so kind of full scale attack. And then once we started getting data back, we started seeing, hey, we're seeing cheaper phone calls here. Let's put more budget here. And really what happened is working with the client, I mean, we're not just chasing cost per phone call. We want to really see if the ROI is being driven. And so after taking deeper dives and just more communication with the client, we're able to see that display, even though it's driving a cheaper phone call, wasn't driving as high quality of a call. And so that got us back to the drawing boards. And so we kind of refocused more on search, where we started seeing ROI come in. And from that, we have now been all in on search. And Colton, great comment on the other display vendor. And so everything we've been doing has all been within Google display platform and everything like that. And so what we've done is kind of shopped around for other vendors. And so one thing that's really big with this client is they need insurance. They have to have a high household income. And so these are things that we can't target using Google. And so we brought in outside vendors who can target that. For example, we can target people that have PPO, HMOs, and Cigna, particular type of healthcare provider. And so now that we've kind of honed in on what's driving ROI, now we're just going to start testing other things to see what we can do to not only drive those phone calls, but more ROI. And so anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so with the search campaign and stuff like that, when we started pushing more towards search and just dumped off display, we actually started testing a lot within search. So we were just landing them on like the homepage of the of our client and stuff like that. But after looking at the data and going through it, we noticed like people were not like, they would search around and stuff like that, but we didn't think it was as good as a landing page as if we tested other things pretty much.
Was it going into AdWords? Were you going into Google Analytics and looking, all right, when we land people here, are people navigating, or what made you see that people are navigating or not navigating?
Pretty much going into the platform Google Ads and just seeing like how much time Google Analytics, and then seeing how much time was spent on page, like average session duration. And pretty much people would like come and then just leave a lot, and then people that would stay would like go around a couple pages and everything like that. But overall, pretty much we just thought that the initial landing page, there was no direction of where to go next for someone. So like they would click on it, but then there'd be a bunch of drop downs or a bunch of things. So it's just like, it's a cluster and people could go somewhere else that's simpler and easier for them. So we just changed the landing page and started landing them on like a different page that was a process and had more like call to actions and then more links to go to other pages on the website, just to give that customer more of like, or potential customer more of a direction when they landed on the page, if that makes sense.
Awesome. No, that's huge, because I mean, one, just testing different landing pages is huge, but what you just hit on is the communication and what you're trying to tell the person to do next. And so some of the pages that we were landing on didn't have phone call buttons, so someone can make a phone call, but also didn't set clear expectations in what is going to happen next. And so really testing that really helped identify that. And then outside of that, what's one other thing that you're able to test where you were able to see some pretty good results?
So yeah, something else I feel like most people don't look at would be time of day. So most people don't look at that because why would you care to look at the time of day or what your ads are doing? But it's really a big insight, I feel like, and Dustin too. And when doing so, we found out that we were actually spending some money, like the money that was being spent on ads during, say, like from like after people go to bed, pretty much when people were sleeping, money was being spent, but those were probably just people that were researching, not actually going to make a call or do what we wanted. And so pretty much we just cut off the ads to do that, and that actually helped a lot, because then we weren't spending money on people just researching. We were spending money to show up when people were actually wanting to make a call and stuff like that, which helped a lot.
Love it. So really looking on intent, what is that person actually doing at that time? And so if it's midnight, they might not be looking for help, but more in the research phase, and we're needing direct response. So we don't want to put budget towards the research phase. And so putting more budget towards that direct response when people are up, ready to make the phone call, saw positive results. And so kind of as we wrap this up, in summary, we just had someone come to us that needed more phone calls. They gave us a clear expectation or a benchmark of where they're currently at. We laid out a game plan of how we're going to bring down that cost per phone call. Some of the things that we looked at are different device types, different landing pages, time of day, what creative are we running, multiple variables that we're looking at to really hone in on the cost per action, but also what's driving the ROI. And so we've seen a positive trend, and now we're just going to keep moving on. So appreciate the time.